What are some of the major challenges facing rural nurses?
Well, rural nurses have the challenge of isolation. That's the first thing that is a challenge for them. So, and even in gaining education, getting away from their practices, having back cover, and then once they're actually out into an education setting, having their unique voice heard. So the stories that rural nurses tell are very different. The scope of practice has its own uniqueness that urban nurses don't have.
As a rural nurse, what has been your biggest challenge, do you think?
My biggest challenge would be around acceptance. So I was very lucky in my day. I had funded education. I didn't have as much use of the internet as what is available now, but there weren't any other nurses who were ahead of me, so it was about having people believe in the vision of what my education would give me at the end.
What would you like to see change for rural nurses moving forward?
Again, it's around skills-based, getting the competency to do the top of scope work that they do, being supported with that and having ongoing support for that, and having that within the environment that they work or close to, and having it meaningful for their work in the communities that they serve. There are 5 nurses on the Rural General Network Board, and I believe that gives us an opportunity for leadership and mentorship in that way within the rural sector. So it's a good start, but we actually need that on other organisations such as Nursing Council. We need a rural focus.
You were the first rural nurse practitioner in New Zealand. What kind of drove you throughout your career to take the next step that led you to that position?
That was easy. That's an easy question. It was all about community need. It's all about what the patients were asking me to do, and it was about my desire to work within a legal framework within my scope of practice, and the ability to do that became available. So I really needed to be able to prescribe some medication for people who had certain conditions. Also, there was an absolute need to work in a team in a more meaningful way. The doctors were working really, really hard, and they still do. There was less of them, they had issues of burnout, and I wanted to be able to step up and take my place and do what the patients needed.
And so, what message do you have to nurses who want to work in a rural setting or want to become a nurse practitioner?
There's 2 separate questions there, so I'll answer the first one first. As far as nursing goes in the rural sector, it's exciting, it's dynamic, it's autonomous, and it has a different level of responsibility than other nurses do. Some of the urban nurses I've had the experience to work with underestimate the level of skill that's required in rural. It's exciting and I love it, and nurses should go for it. And as far as rural nurse practitioners, once you've got there, you will never ever want to turn back.